it was really surprising that Holger would appear one day to tell us that he's into this kind of research, into this field. But all along he's been here, right? So you tell us the rest of the story.
Okay.
In any case, just to say to you that it was a pleasant surprise meeting you. And so, although we're kind of tight around this time of the year, I kind of forced this activity onto us. Oh, there's Philip.
Hello.
And so here he is, right? So
Here I am, yes, right.
take it away.
Okay, well, just to tell you a little bit about my background, or is there any chance we can switch off the aircon? How do you feel about that? Is it okay?
Are you?
Well, I have to speak very loudly because that's why I was.
You can turn it down a bit.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Austin.
Just.
Can you join the circle?
Sure.
I am.
It's okay if it's problem, don't worry about it. I think I am blessed with a loud voice, so hopefully that's all right. Okay. I'm sorry I had to run out of a very interesting lecture. I had about 100 questions, but I had to. Yeah, I went here already.
We just finished also.
Did you? Right, yeah. I'm sure it was interesting. My name is Holger Briel. I was born in Germany. I started studying in Germany, but then went to the States and lived in the States for a long time. I graduated with a PhD on not so much cultural studies, but literary theory, comparisons between Adorno and Derrida. Very theoretical work, and taught in the States for a few years, and then I lived in England and taught at the University of Surrey near London. I taught in the German department, but by then already I was very much moving towards media studies and cultural studies, because I thought that was very interesting. In particular, since I was a big fan of the Frankfurt School of Critical Theory, as it is called in German. I was very dissatisfied with the media theory of the Frankfurt School because they didn't really have any, except saying it's bad. So I thought we could do a little bit better than that, and looked into that. And so I really went into media studies. And then one of my passions besides diving, or included in diving, is the traveling. And so I did start traveling around quite a bit and seeing more and more cultures. And I thought that cultural studies was a bit under-theorized at the time, and in particular when you look at the various cultures that were never thematized. It was in the late 1970s, early 1980s, the beginning of post-colonialism, but it was always very much from a European standpoint. Even if they were theoreticians who came from India or came from other parts of the world, they would be ensconced within a Western framework, and then would speak from the position of the Western framework, no matter what they were saying. So there was a co-optation going on, at least the way I was seeing it. And this is something that was bugging me, and so I started thinking about that a little bit more. And this essay is part of that. It has to do also with the idea of practical teaching as well in various areas. So just bear with me for a little bit, and I'll get to that. I took the liberty of looking around the pages of Critica Cultura a little bit, and I enjoyed it very much. I think it's a very interesting publication, and in particular, what caught my eye was the discussion on Raphael's book, The Promise of the Foreign. I thought that was very good. I hadn't heard of the book, and now I'm very keen on having a look at it. I think the discussion around it was very, very interesting as well. And especially the ideas that were brought to it then from the discussants in regards to foreignness being a call, sort of a Heideggerian way approach at it. I think what's very important is not so much the Heideggerian approach, but the idea that it's an open-ended thing that somebody has to respond to. I think that's very important. Heidegger, of course, also went on and not just stayed with this idea of language. Is on the way to language is discussions with a Japanese philosopher on the notions of language. I think are very, very interesting and very helpful when you want to approach the foreign. But Heidegger for me is also very important in terms of technology, because this idea of the framing of technology becomes more and more important, especially since we are mediated in also many ways today, more mediated than ever before. So all these things have a bearing, and I also am very happy to see that two of my good friends are on your editorial board. One of them is Peter Horn, who I know from South Africa, and then of course also Raji from NUS. Who is a very good friend of mine. He came to a conference I put on Adorno a few years ago in Surrey, where we published the proceedings together as well. So that was nice to see some old friends on your editorial board. Okay, let me get started here just a little bit. I did not have any PowerPoint presentations, I'm afraid, but I think you've seen enough of PowerPoint presentations at this point. So I'm just gonna play with the text a little bit, and I will start talking about cultural studies proper, if there is such a thing. Cultural studies have successfully integrated themselves into many university curricula. In general, one is able to differentiate three discrete trends in how this has happened. First of all, while a few older institutions have adopted cultural studies, such as Minnesota, Nottingham, it's mostly newer and liberal universities which have taken the lead. Amongst them in England is the University of Sussex and the University of Turku in Finland, Kyushu University in Japan, University of Applied Industries in Germany, the University of Bremen in Germany, a newly found university which is on the border between Poland and Germany, the Andria, which is a very interesting university because they teach both in Polish and in German. It's a very, very important focal point for the cultures of these two countries. And also Lingnan University in Hong Kong, which have standalone cultural studies departments. Then there is many more institutions that have combined degrees, such as cultural studies with anthropology, linguistics, lit, arts, media, tourism, and whatnot. I think there are many more who do that. And then lastly, there are many foreign language and literature programs that are dealing with cultural studies and have, for instance, cultural studies at least as a title in one of their degrees. I'm not sure how it is in the English department.
Masters of Literary Cultural Studies.
There we go. This is very, very cutting edge and very becoming very typical at the same time. I was talking to one of my colleagues. I never told you why I was here right today. I was talking to one of my colleagues in the business school because I've been teaching in the business school for the last 3 weeks. I taught a course on enculturation and on leadership development. So the enculturation bit is there, and he told me one of my colleagues, his name is Art Valencia, I think, who teaches the culture bit in the business school. And I think he also does the introductory lecture for our thing, let's say, in the last 3 weeks, for your students who come in from abroad, for your exchange students. He does a little culture on welcome to the Philippines, there's our culture, right? So it's quite interesting, and I think this is also very typical that cultural studies has insinuated itself in various areas in the university. And this is a good thing, I think, as well. Very, very typical in business, but then in business, of course, it has a very, very specific tap. And this is my one slide I have for you. It's a true slide, I'll slide it around. This is actually from, I'm not sure if it's from the Inquirer or the Star. I don't know which one carries Dilbert. Is it Dilbert? Is it the Star?
Star.
Okay, so good thing I didn't mention that to our friend from the Inquirer. Because I like Dilbert a lot. So here it is, and this is, I think, a typical take from the business school on cultural studies. Have a look at it. And then we'll pass it around. I was in the business school, yeah. I was, again, I still haven't told you why I'm here.